Alright guys, here we are talking about another episode of Twilight Zone. Today we're talking about episode 29, season 1, as it appears on Netflix.
What up?
So this episode, I thought was one of the worst.
Yeah, you know what this 22-minute ancient show excels at?
What's that?
Fucking super deep, like, long things with backstories and flashbacks, and, like, you have to establish a character, and then establish she's not a reliable protagonist, and then have something from her past. Like, this whole, I'm like, what are you doing? We don't have time for this. We have time for, like, 2 things, maybe 3, and then, like, a mindfuck. Like, you can't be doing all this fucking stuff.
It was a super deep dive. Never at one point did I not see the twist coming.
Sure.
So, like...
Well, okay.
That's a mistake in and to itself. But then to assume that this man is so stupid that, like, not only does he not kill the witness the first time, but the second time when he's somehow just come to see how she's doing, I'm hoping that he just saw her when she saw him at the fucking red light or whatever it was,
yes.
And he's like, oh, she might have recognized me, I must finish her. And not that he was purposefully there to visit her. But nevertheless, he's in her apartment with the intent to kill her, I have to assume, from the very beginning.
I must assume.
But for some reason, he's trying to make her remember before he kills her, it seems.
Just in case.
Then she passes out, and he could easily be like, all right, just snap that neck like a...
Yeah.
But he waits, and then, like, the thing that got him almost caught the first time was her yelling. He enables her to yell again. She's banging on fucking doors and shit. And then the worst,
horrible.
like, over the shoulder down the stairs I've ever seen in my life. She's like, and he's like, ah! Like, flies down the stairs and dies.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
That's terrible.
No, the whole thing where he's, like, trying... Because you're right, he's like, well, maybe she doesn't remember me. Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Like, tries the character to remember. Also, something was very wrong with this whole thing.
What's that?
I don't know what this was meant to mean, but he said, I had a crush on you, like, back in the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so, like...
During the flashback, they'll be of a similar age.
Or something.
No, he's exactly the same age somehow.
So, so he's played by the same actor, and then she's played by the kid actor in, like, the flashback.
Yes, the, like, 9-year-old kid actor, and he's like 60 in the current day.
I was going to say, so, like, she's been established to be 10 years old.
Okay, 10.
You know, in this, like, flashback. They don't say how old she is now, but she is a teacher.
Yeah.
Or, like, whatever. He's older than her, clearly. But the way the Twilight Zone's been working, I half expected them to be like, well, I'm 28, or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, maybe he could have been, like, 40 in, like, Twilight Zone years, where everyone looks fucking old or whatever the fuck.
Maybe, but that's still a 20-year-old that was into a 10-year-old.
Into a 10-year-old. Like, that's what I mean. Even if she's 30 now and he's in his 40s, it's still, like, nothing makes this okay. You know, like, nothing makes
What
this
is your
good.
best case? He was 18?
I know.
And she was 10?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
There's no proper, like, there's no way to make him young enough to have a crush on a 10-year-old.
No, and they're not trying to paint him as a good guy. So
sure.
He's a murderer. Why not a pedophile? There's
guess.
no reason not to. He's already painted as a bad guy. He's a murderer. He kills her mother. He tries to kill her. So I don't think that's my problem. My problem is just how poorly everything is developed.
But he says that to her, and she doesn't go, that's really weird. What the fuck? She just kind of goes, oh, or whatever. And in my head, I'm like, is that was that phrase used in more of like a general sense back then? Would you have said like, oh, you were quite a handsome young fella. I wanted to tap that.
I liked back in the day when they would call ladies handsome. That's a handsome woman right there. And it wasn't said like ironically.
That's a handsome broad you've got there. Look at the heat coming off of her vagina. No, the whole it was very weird. The kid was creepy. Did you like the kid though? The kid was creepy.
The kid was an okay actor, and I guess you wanted it to be creepy. But like, there was never a second when you weren't like, well, there's something wrong with that. Either you're fake or a ghost, because
that's not normal.
What the hell? And what's not normal too is you see a kid on the stairs. Let me invite you into my house for cocoa. Understandably, it's a different time. It was like, you know, probably more acceptable then. But now I'd be like,
so 30-year-olds could have crushes on 10-year-olds.
I've never met you before. Yeah. I'm not coming into your house.
No, really, really super weird.
How do you know I have a back door to leave through? And
I'm like, you don't have a back door. It's an apartment. What are you talking about? Everything about this episode was weird.
Well, the fire escape.
Oh,
presumably.
Everything about this episode was weird.
Yeah.
I would have been like, back door. Wait a minute. You're a ghost. They don't have a... And like the kid looked nothing like her. I know that's not important.
Some
or whatever
people
the
look
fuck.
very different when they're kids.
People change when they get older or something like that.
If you looked at my baby pictures, you would have no idea to me.
Hell yeah. It's just like a tiny Chris Evans. No, I don't know how this happened, this episode. the when she like looks over and like the guy is there now. How did he get back in? Like what's going on?
He never left.
Oh,
she passed out, and he was there when she passed out.
Okay, so when she's talking to like the girl, so she's not delusional. She's just hallucinate. Like
yes.
Okay, so nothing ever happens. That's why the Coco wasn't drunk, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
There was no little girl there.
That.
She made coffee for nobody or
yes.
hot cocoa. Yeah.
No. But if she made the so I had it in my head like she was talking to like an empty chair, and she presented that chair with like the cocoa.
Oh,
so,
here's your cocoa, and then imagined it getting drank, and then like when she looked back,
But
that
that means that the whole time she was talking to the little girl, the second time the guy was just standing there instead, like watching her delusionally talk to like nothing.
I thought she was passed out during that point. I thought that was all in her head.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Either
she was like on the floor, and he moved her to the couch, or she fell into the couch. She had the conversation, and then he was like, she woke up and he was there. Hello.
I took it to always be the same thing that whenever she's talking to the girl that she's really talking or whatever. It was very. This episode is in fact bad.
It's not a good episode, and it's not good because it's not really Twilight Zone-y. It's not like a twist. It's like a sad psychotic woman and her weird murderous friend having a romp through the apartments.
Yeah, and what did the cops at the end say? Some shit like sometimes that's all you need or whatever the fuck. Some like weird thing where you're like no, and then what did Rod Serling say? Was that a thing? She's gonna chase her childhood so far away that she'll find herself in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. No, this was a disappointment. I'm hoping that next week we'll get something that's I don't know, like a creature or something good.
So you were predicting here, like we're gonna have like a ghost or some weird stuff, cool stuff happening, whatever. I too was like, this could be great. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. And then it was just this.
Yeah, when you first see the shot of the little girl, because of her weird dead face, you almost think it's going to be like the Wish into the Cornfield type of episode, where it's like this kid has nothing to fear because they're fucking powerful or something.
I literally
she knows everything about you.
Upon seeing the like opening plate, you know when you hit play on like Netflix and it shows you like a random still frame or whatever somehow.
Sure.
That made me go, it's the Cornfield episode.
Nah, that's a boy in the first one, and the second one it's his daughter.
Oh, there's a second one?
In the future, the next series, Forrest Whitaker's version.
We're not watching that.
Forrest Whitaker's version is actually cool because they got the original boy, I think, back
to play the dad of like the new one.
If I'm not mistaken.
Do they send each other into cornfields infinitely until there's just a pile of cornfields and all of realities become cornfields?
No.
Don't tell me. Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it for me.
All right.
But here, and like the ending when there's the other girl now. What's that?
That's just a real girl.
Is she real?
That was, as far as I understood, that was a real girl.
So that just
or
happens
she
every
made
now
up
and then?
another girl. Who knows?
It just keeps happening forever.
Well, once you know there's free cocoa, all the neighborhood kids start coming.
Like stray cats just showing up there.
That's what I would do.
No, I don't know. I guess that's it. Fuck. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a simple episode
good to say here.
Because there's so much happening in such a short time. It can't be that good. It's rushing through too many things, and the eventual payoff is not even a payoff. So, I'm giving this a thumbs down. This was a bad episode.
No, super thumbs down.
Let us know what you thought about this episode in the comments below. If you're wrong, let us know why you disagree with us. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.